Harry, 39, died at the age of 35. MadMeg forces us to see the painful truth: Harry never smiles again. Hi everyone, very warmly back to the Princess Diana news. YouTuber Meghan Markle walks around with Graham's right muscle permanently glued to her face. So why can't Harry smile? He never really understood that having to smile in front of the camera to hide his feelings now meant that constantly smiling when the camera was around just didn't show on Harry's face. Apparently you all heard the latest news about Meghan Markle and Harry going to her concert and Meghan shaking her stuff in front of the cameras. His mother was also present, and even though she wasn't a very good dancer, Mark still didn't look like an elegant royal. But then again, as he watched Meghan try to keep up, she never looked like she wanted to go home. Now, Harry is unfortunately not suitable for this event. He had no business being there and seemed bored out of his mind. I believe Harry was the real deal. I mean, he sat like a plate of shrimp in the synagogue, and I guess after what happened on Friday, he was scolded by Meghan because he wasn't happy enough, so he refused to go anymore. On Monday, Meghan had to go without watching Harry's pained expression, but it became something of a national pastime. Meghan has completely destroyed his royal image, and when Harry willingly goes along with her lies, he really opens himself up to criticism. Now if it's true that Meghan really intended the next night and supposedly partied with all the bigwigs in Hollywood, then it was just a setup to make Harry look like an idiot, to use him to set him up in an absurd woman's jacket knowing that he was going to look absolute, and then the next night supposedly Meghan was partying hard all on her own, but the A-listers, of course, friendly tabloids, were excited to show her and comment about her comeback. Many of you in the comments have been wondering how Meghan can make a comeback when she never was successful. I think you're right in that. So basically she's just jumping from being and never was to has been anyway. It seems like there were some who are cooperating in this little scheme. We don't know why they did it, maybe on their own initiative. It's too hard for me to even try to understand something so crazy. She is Meghan, and Harry, bless her heart. I mean, he looked like an idiot standing there. The cameras are now revealing her worst angles, and that's on purpose. But why is the media so terrible for him? Why do they still support Meghan Markle? I mean, it makes sense to do horrible things to both of them because they both deserve it, while coddling them at the same time. Meghan means nothing to me. Are you, Emmanuel and me, really so vague? So did she pay the public relations fees? Where does the money even come from? I notice that Doria is always there when Harry is tricked like this. The whole thing is really creepy, and I suspect there are very bad intentions behind it. We see all this senseless behavior as we approach these solemn days. The anniversary of the death of the beloved and honorable Queen Elizabeth. Secondly, it's hard for me to talk about Harry's creations now because I can't help but think of what they did to the late Queen and her dear husband before they died. Honestly, guys, we have to laugh at them because if we don't laugh, we'll cry. However, the royal family came up with some pretty brilliant plans to let them know where they were. So, at the king's coronation, Harry had to sit behind this giant, princess-like feathered hat, while Meghan sat behind a giant candle. It is perfectly organized by the royal family with the help of a BBC camera. We notice that Meghan is a big fan of these silly salads and silly speeches, and she's literally forcing Harry to do it because she's writing his speeches. That's why he says, "You have to grow." Not just nonsense when Meghan writes the same nonsense to Harry about his mental health issues. It makes absolutely no sense, not only to us, but also to Harry. He doesn't understand it either. How could he? Because it doesn't make sense. Harry didn't know what he was talking about, but it was obvious that Harry had spent his entire life under the protection of his family. Meghan desperately needs publicity. The more a disastrous chase in New York looks like, the more she feels at home and just wants to be written about. He doesn't care if it's good or bad. Just spell my name correctly and take my best photo. That's all Meghan wants, and I'm sure it frustrates Harry, because he knows that everything he does to make Meghan happy will never be enough, and he will never be able to give in to her plastic way and adapt to their future plans. I'm sure it's not easy for him to understand the negativity behind everything he does. Did Harry really think leaving Britain was possible? I mean, I hope not, because it would be an absolute disaster. While William's fame was soaring, Harry's was in the toilet. But now Meghan seems to be enjoying it, considering how much she enjoys humiliating him in front of the world. Is it any wonder he wants to try and get back to the UK, and guess who will pay for Harry's grand return? That will be his father. He will have free room and board. I will have security at my father's expense, but I won't bother with anything right now. And no matter how hard the king and other family members tried to restore his image, he must pass the princess and his wife Prince Wall. I don't think they would agree with that. Harry stabbed each of them in the back and supported his wife when she mocked the Queen. I don't think and will ever forgive them. Harry is like a goldfish that fell right out of the bowl and is now squirming and wondering why he can't breathe. I'm just glad to see Meghan leave. He keeps appearing on the news, but it's just the usual nonsense and lies he uses to fool himself, which seems easy enough. A golden dress, it floats, and a Bond concert. And then there's the car chase in New York. I will never back down from this. I hope South Park does an episode about this incident. Now the media is focusing on Harry because at one point we thought he would be the one. He had many opportunities. He was born a royal prince, but he missed all the opportunities. Harry tried to stop things just for his own good. Harry is a liar. And at the same time no one else can respect him. Well, Meghan, she never was. What matters is that he has always been a man and he has never been. He is no one. Unless she resumes her campaign against the royal family, she has one more swim left. No one really cares about her now. If she tries to restart her campaign, the power of the media and everything else will be thrown in her face. This will hurt him. I'm sure but not sure this is intentional. I don't know why it would be, but it looks like Netflix is doing a great job of making the whole world turn against Harry. They're always showing him attacking his family over the same old, and they're making sure that the constant exposure is going to be his downfall. See, Harry is a one-trick pony. He always has been, and the longer he wins, the more sick and tired of him the people become, and once everybody just gives up on him, Netflix is going to drop him. He'll be a broken man with no family. No friends, because he's the one who alienated them or allowed Meghan to do so. And Meghan, well, she'll have moved on. At that point, she'll become a nobody somewhere else with some other rich man, all because of their choices, though their greed and their conviction that they are so important and they're entitled to whatever they want. They are the creators of their own downfall. In the meantime, Netflix should at least take some responsibility. I mean, they had complete control over how the documentary was edited. So, does Netflix really believe that Harry and Meghan have the star power to capture the attention of viewers around the world? If they do something that gives them an idea, they may need to hire more data analysts or people who came up with the idea. I mean, if Netflix thought people would watch the show because of Harry and Meghan's presence, how could they not read the show widely? They just don't seem to understand that most people still have enough. Harry, what I mean is that they turn every incident into a therapy session, focusing on their personal complaints rather than the incident itself. Who wants to hear this? No one, and unfortunately for veterans, the documentary, Winner's Heart, decided to rip out the real heart and replace it with Harry's wails. The royal fan once again pointed out that Harry loves being the center of attention. He doesn't like it when he has to share. Just look at how his face lights up when you press him, no sign of activation. This only happens when he is with Meghan. The fan says that is why he is jealous of William and his family. He knows that they will always be in the spotlight because they have interesting projects and work incredibly hard. He wants attention without doing any work because his raw sense of importance and entitlement makes him think he's special. The sooner he's stripped of his title, the sooner he can start growing. Otherwise, he will find himself trapped in this royal but not royal void, where his immaturity remains and his rage simply surrounds the void. This fan brought up a good point, with Harry claiming he was so scared that he would panic when he heard the sound of camera flashes. If you hate it so much, Why do you keep putting yourself in situations you know you'll get into? Come on, Harry, give up. We can all see the truth, and so can you. What do you think of Harry and his wife? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you find my videos helpful, don't be afraid until I share them, and also, please subscribe to the Princess Diana News channel for more updates in the future. Thanks for tuning in, have a great day and see you tonight.